It's dark, the dungeon feels cold. You breathe heavily. You've just survived a surprising basilisk attack. You're not sure if you're the only one in the party that survived. You finally see a door. Could it be a safe place to rest for a bit and tend to your wounds? Might be. You approach carefully and open the door. You see, in front of you, 2 axes and a magnificent buttocks in a thong. Before you stands a dwarf. He is in the middle of drinking. Finishes the drink, throws the mug on the ground, and without looking he asks if you're a friend or a foe. You're so tired that you want to be a friend, so you wishfully say that. The dwarf turns around, greets you, and offers a drink. Grab that drink and a warrior's underwear, and let's dive into a little adventure that led me to sculpting a character from a comic that a cool guy makes. Let's get started. Before we start with the main course, just a reminder that there are goblin chefs and pigs waiting for their home and paints on MyMiniFactory. Links below. Everything started with a normal day. I was sculpting miniatures, as I do often these days. And I had a notification on Instagram from none other than Odarkworks. He got to print the mini that I sculpted after one of his goblins. It was cool seeing it and knowing he has it. Not long after, I got a message. Someone saw the goblin and was asking me if I was able to make a 3D sculpture of one of his characters. Do I want to shove one more thing in my endless schedule? Well, yes, of course. But Jordan, how are you going to manage your time? Magic. Also, sleep is for the weak. I did a quick stalking of the person's page, liked what I saw and got back to him with a firm maybe. And it depends. He kindly explained to me what's what and I was quickly on board with the idea. And now we're at the point where I accepted to sculpt a ginger dwarf with 2 axes and a thong. By the way, if you're interested in a dry sarcastic RPG comic as described, be sure to check Norton's Instagram page, Nortonomicon. What if we get the criminals to do the quests nobody wants? Like a certain squad, but funnier and more fantasy. So I mentioned a dwarf. His name is Grom, Ironogin, or however that's pronounced. The Warhammer buffs might be delighted that the name comes from dwarfish, and it basically translates to a brave idiot. You could be a brave idiot too, by subscribing to this channel. Normally when I sculpt, my reference is sketches, random scribbles, illustrations, or something in that ballpark. But this time I got a whole turnaround. How exciting it was to have a proper reference with the name Vitruvian Grom. Once I had everything I needed, I started sculpting. As always, I start with balls. Lots of spheres, I mean. I started with the head. I knew I needed to nail the face. At the beginning, there's always this awkward moment where the sculpt looks funny and not at all what it's supposed to be. In this case, it was very prominent because he had a beard and I did not put the beard. I waited for the beard to grow on its own. Meanwhile, more balls were needed to make the base of the body. Balls for the base of the body, balls for the base of the body. There's a lot of pushing and pulling and sculpting. It sure is nice that I'm quite familiar with anatomy. It definitely helps. In this case, it looked like it was going to be simple. But no, once you get the shape language and the style of the character, it's very angular and squarish. This works really good when it's all line art, but as a third dimension is added, now things get tricky. No worries, I'm awesome, so there's nothing to worry about. I worked on putting the butt and all his limbs. I decided to sculpt him in the pose that he was going to end up anyway. And since it was not going to be a modular type of deal, better make him look in that pose, right? It was time for the glorious beard. I might have a soft spot for that. No particular reason. Also, it was kind of time for the nipples and the belly button. Time for some details. Belts, weapons, defining the muscles. I felt like the leg muscles are very important for this character, so I put a lot of effort in sculpting them. Once I had more or less the whole figure, it was time to check what Norton thinks about it. And to my pleasant surprise, he was happy overall, with a couple of little changes here and there. It's so much better to receive a clear feedback than just, "Oh no, there's something, but I don't know what it is." But it definitely should be different. I felt the pain that every creative meets when does commissions. So thanks for the good feedback, Norton. Let's have a quick look at what Grom looks like. Great! I need like a quick 24 hours for him to be printed on FDM. Hopefully successful, so I could go to the next fun part. It wasn't actually a part of the commission, but I wanted to paint him, so that's what I did. I primed him with purple, after that red zenithal. I thought it'd be a nice base for a mostly naked guy. When you paint whatever the base could make things easier or harder, depending on what you're looking for. Human flesh has a lot of blood underneath. Don't ask me how I know that. It's cool. Probably. So red is not a bad way to start, I reckon. The purple works nice for consistent shadows. It might be blue or whatever surrounding you imagine for your character. The MVP of my painting process, Parasite Brown, is here as well to the rescue. Combined with the red and the purple, it makes a great mid-tone base, where highlights could move in and live comfortably there. I combined Parasite Brown with Ice Yellow to get lighter and lighter. His beard needed some attention, so I started with carmine red as a base. He has to be ginger in the end, so sun yellow got into the mix to make things lighter and more gingerly. Or gingery is more right. Grom's belt buckle would be yellow. Well, more like cartoonish gold, but nevertheless, I used light pink because yellow looks awesome when you use pink underneath. The bearded dwarf sure likes leather, so before I did the yellow buckle, I decided it was a good idea to paint all the leather parts. Here I used dark rust even for the wooden parts of the axes. Speaking of the axes, they got the deep gray treatment. Non-metallic metal is very fun for me to paint. In this case, I just used that white with the deep gray to make it look three-dimensional and shiny. The magic of knowing how values and materials work. Oh boy, my most anxiety-fused part is coming up. The eyes. Surprisingly, maybe because you might have noticed that he's a big boy, it wasn't as painful as a 28mm miniature would be. His eyes are blue, so you know the deal. I use blue. Buckle, you have my permission to become gold. Kinda. After that, more details, more highlights, some purple mixed with ice yellow and parasite brown were used for the nails and the mouth. I almost forgot that he has a hairy belly, so a quick hair job, and I think we're ready to see some beauty shots. Oh boy, how I like to make stuff that brings people joy. Grom Ironogin was a fun project, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Norton prints and paints him. Hope you have fun, my dude. For now, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, you could watch my other videos. May your swing be free and true, as nature intended. Bye.